Imagine walking onto your balcony, patio, rooftop, or even into a small backyard and picking fresh, perfectly ripe fruit straight from your own tree. You don't need a sprawling orchard, acres of land, or an expensive greenhouse to enjoy homegrown fruit. With a few well-chosen containers, the right fruit tree varieties, and some simple routine care, you can successfully grow apples, peaches, lemons, figs, cherries, and many other fruits in surprisingly small spaces. Container fruit gardening has become easier than ever thanks to compact and dwarf cultivars that stay manageable while producing generous harvests year after year. In today's video, we'll look at some of the best fruit trees for container growing. Whether you have a sunny balcony, patio, courtyard, rooftop, or any other bright outdoor space, these trees can provide delicious harvests while adding beauty and fragrance throughout the seasons. By the end of this video, you'll know which fruit trees thrive in containers, how to care for them successfully, and how to enjoy fresh homegrown fruit no matter how limited your gardening space may be. 1. Dwarf apple trees. Enjoy fresh apples. Without a traditional orchard, few fruit trees are as familiar and rewarding as the apple tree. Harvesting crisp, juicy apples from your own branches is one of the greatest pleasures of gardening. And thanks to modern dwarf cultivars, you no longer need a large orchard to experience it. Compact and columnar apple trees have been specially bred for small gardens and container growing, offering beautiful spring blossoms, delicious fruit, and year-round charm, while remaining small enough for balconies, patios, and modest outdoor spaces. Excellent varieties such as Honeycrisp, Pixie Crunch, North Pole, and Golden Sentinel have become favorites among container gardeners because they stay relatively compact, usually reaching only 5 to 8 feet tall, while still producing full-sized apples packed with flavor. For the healthiest growth, begin with a sturdy container at least 20 inches wide and equally deep, giving the roots plenty of space to develop. Proper drainage is essential because apple trees dislike constantly wet soil that can lead to root problems. Fill the pot with a lightweight, high-quality potting mix enriched with compost or other well-aged organic matter, rather than heavy garden soil, which often becomes compacted inside containers. Like most fruit trees, apples need abundant sunshine to perform well. Choose a location receiving at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight each day, whether that's a sunny balcony, rooftop, patio, or another bright corner of your yard. Pollination is another important consideration. Many apple varieties produce larger harvests when another compatible variety is growing nearby, so planting 2 trees often increases fruit production significantly. If space allows for only one container, selecting a self-pollinating variety such as Fuji, Golden Delicious, or Liberty makes harvesting much easier. Throughout the growing season, keep the soil evenly moist, especially during hot weather when containers dry out more rapidly than garden beds. Feeding the tree is equally important. Apply a balanced organic fertilizer in early spring as new growth begins and provide another light feeding during midsummer to support healthy fruit development. Regular pruning helps maintain a compact shape while improving airflow and allowing sunlight to reach every branch. Removing crossing or crowded branches encourages healthier growth and larger harvests, while preserving the appearance of a miniature orchard tree perfectly suited for container life. Even before the apples begin forming, these trees provide outstanding ornamental value. In spring, their branches become covered with delicate pink and white blossoms that attract bees while filling the surrounding air with a gentle fragrance. As the season progresses, those blossoms develop into clusters of bright red, golden, or green apples hanging beautifully from the branches. A single container-grown tree can provide fresh snacks, homemade pies, applesauce, cider, and countless other delicious recipes. For gardeners with limited space, dwarf apple trees remain one of the most satisfying fruit trees you can grow. 2. Dwarf peach trees. Sweet summer harvests from a single container. Very few fruits compare to the flavor of a perfectly ripe peach picked directly from the tree. Warmed by the summer sun, homegrown peaches are sweeter, juicier, and far more fragrant than most supermarket fruit. The exciting news is that many dwarf peach varieties perform exceptionally well in containers. Compact cultivars such as Bonanza, Pixie, and El Dorado were specifically developed for patios and small gardens, usually growing only 4 to 6 feet tall while producing impressive crops of full-sized peaches. To give your tree the best possible start, Select a container measuring approximately 18 to 24 inches wide and deep. Larger containers provide extra room for root development while helping maintain more consistent soil moisture throughout the growing season. Sunlight plays a crucial role in successful peach production. At least 6 hours of direct sunlight every day encourages vigorous growth, abundant blossoms, and sweeter fruit. Unlike some drought-tolerant fruit trees, peaches appreciate consistently moist soil during active growth. Allowing the potting mix to dry completely can stress the tree and reduce both fruit size and quality. A loose, well-draining potting mix enriched with compost creates the ideal growing environment for healthy roots. One of the most spectacular stages of the year arrives in early spring, when branches become covered with masses of brilliant pink blossoms before the leaves have fully emerged. These colorful flowers transform patios and balconies into miniature orchards while attracting bees and other valuable pollinators that help ensure a successful harvest. As summer advances, the blossoms gradually give way to fuzzy golden-orange peaches that ripen naturally on the branches. Regular feeding with fertilizers containing generous amounts of phosphorus and potassium encourages strong flowering and healthy fruit production. Both slow-release organic fertilizers and liquid feeds work very well throughout the season. Once the harvest has finished, lightly prune the tree to remove damaged wood, improve airflow, and maintain a balanced shape for future growth. Gardeners living in colder regions should also consider protecting container-grown peaches during winter by moving them into garages, sheds, or other sheltered spaces where the roots are less likely to experience severe freezing temperatures. Despite their modest size, mature dwarf peach trees are capable of producing 20 to 40 peaches in a single season. That's more than enough for fresh eating, smoothies, baking, preserves, and sharing with family and friends. Even when they're not carrying fruit, these trees remain beautiful throughout the year, offering vibrant spring blossoms, abundant summer harvests, golden autumn foliage, and graceful winter branch structure. More than simply producing fruit, a dwarf peach tree becomes an elegant centerpiece that enhances any outdoor living space. 3. Meyer lemon, one of the best citrus trees for container gardening. Among all fruit trees grown in containers, few enjoy the popularity of the Meyer lemon. Compact, productive, beautifully fragrant, and exceptionally attractive, it has earned a reputation as one of the finest citrus trees for patios, balconies, courtyards, and bright indoor locations. Unlike standard lemons, the Meyer lemon is believed to be a natural hybrid between a traditional lemon and a mandarin orange. As a result, its fruit has smoother skin, a slightly rounder shape, and a noticeably sweeter, less acidic flavor with subtle floral notes. That unique taste makes Meyer lemons perfect for beverages, desserts, cooking, baking, and countless everyday recipes. Although these trees remain relatively compact, usually reaching only 3 to 6 feet tall in containers, mature plants are capable of producing dozens of lemons every year. Successful cultivation begins with choosing a container approximately 18 to 24 inches wide, that provides excellent drainage because citrus trees dislike constantly wet roots. Fill the pot with a light, airy growing mix designed specifically for citrus, or prepare your own blend using compost, coarse sand, and perlite to improve drainage and root health. Plenty of sunlight is absolutely essential. Meyer lemons perform best when they receive 6 to 8 hours of direct sun every day, and greater sunlight usually results in healthier foliage, heavier flowering, and larger harvests. Water deeply whenever the upper layer of soil begins drying out, encouraging strong root development while mimicking the natural wet and dry cycles citrus trees experience outdoors. Since citrus trees consume large amounts of nutrients, regular feeding is equally important. Applying a citrus-specific fertilizer throughout the active growing season promotes lush foliage, abundant blossoms, and excellent fruit production. One of the greatest advantages of growing Meyer lemons in containers is their portability. Before the first frost arrives, simply move the tree indoors to a bright south-facing window, where it can continue growing through winter. Increasing humidity with occasional misting, or a humidifier often improves indoor growing conditions even further. Another unforgettable feature is the fragrance. When clusters of white blossoms appear, they release a wonderfully sweet tropical scent, capable of filling an entire patio, balcony, or room. Many Meyer lemon trees flower and produce fruit multiple times during the year, providing an almost continuous display of blossoms, glossy evergreen leaves, and bright yellow fruit. Imagine harvesting fresh lemons from your own tree while snow covers the ground outside. That combination of evergreen beauty, intoxicating fragrance, and homegrown citrus is exactly why Meyer lemons remain one of the most rewarding fruit trees for container gardeners. 4. Dwarf cherry trees. Beautiful blossoms and sweet harvests in small spaces. Few fruit trees offer the perfect combination of ornamental beauty and generous harvests, quite like dwarf cherry trees. Many people associate cherry orchards with vast stretches of countryside, but modern compact varieties have made it possible to enjoy homegrown cherries on balconies, patios, rooftops, and in even the smallest urban gardens. One of the greatest advantages of these trees is that they remain attractive throughout every season of the year. Compact varieties such as Stella, Lapins, Sweetheart, and Compact Stella usually mature between 6 and 8 feet tall, yet they are capable of producing impressive crops of full-sized, flavorful cherries. To give your tree the best start, plant it in a sturdy container that measures at least 20 inches wide and deep. Good drainage is essential because cherry roots prefer evenly moist soil without remaining constantly wet. A premium potting mix enriched with compost or well-aged organic matter provides the fertile, well-drained growing conditions these trees appreciate. Slightly acidic soil also encourages healthy growth and excellent fruit production. Like most fruit trees, cherries perform best when they receive 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every day. Plenty of sunshine encourages vigorous growth, abundant blossoms, and sweeter fruit. One of the most breathtaking moments arrives in spring, before the leaves have fully emerged. Delicate clusters of pale pink and white blossoms cover every branch, creating a spectacular display that rivals ornamental flowering cherries. Having one of these trees growing on a balcony or patio feels like bringing a miniature cherry blossom festival right to your home. As the season progresses, those blossoms gradually develop into clusters of glossy cherries that ripen during early to midsummer. When the fruit reaches its rich color and gives slightly under gentle pressure, it's ready to harvest. Fresh cherries picked directly from the tree are remarkably juicy, sweet, and flavorful, often far superior to anything available at the grocery store. Another major advantage for container gardeners is that many dwarf cherry varieties are self-fertile, meaning a single tree can often produce fruit without another pollinator nearby. However, planting two compatible varieties together usually increases both pollination and overall harvests. Feeding requirements remain simple. Apply a balanced fertilizer in spring as new growth begins, then provide a lighter feeding after harvest to replace nutrients and prepare the tree for the following season. Pruning is equally straightforward. A light trim during late winter improves airflow, removes damaged or crowded branches, and helps preserve the tree's compact shape. Gardeners living in colder climates should also protect container-grown cherries during severe winter weather by insulating the pots or moving them into sheltered locations. Even beyond their delicious harvests, these trees remain outstanding ornamental additions to any outdoor space. Spring brings clouds of blossoms, summer delivers glossy fruit, autumn fills the canopy with brilliant foliage, and winter reveals an elegant branching structure. Every season contributes something beautiful. Few gardening experiences compare to stepping outside on a warm summer morning and picking a handful of perfectly ripe cherries from your very own tree. 5. Calamandan Orange, a compact citrus tree that delivers beauty all year. For gardeners who dream of growing citrus in limited space, the Calamandan Orange is one of the finest choices available. This compact tree combines colorful fruit, fragrant blossoms, and glossy evergreen foliage into one remarkably attractive plant, making it one of the most decorative fruit trees you can grow in containers. Imagine a small tree covered with shiny emerald green leaves, delicate white flowers releasing a sweet citrus fragrance, and bright orange fruits glowing among the branches. Whether displayed on a sunny balcony, patio, porch, sunroom, or even beside a bright window indoors, it instantly creates the feeling of a tropical retreat. Although relatively small, calamandan trees are incredibly productive. Most mature between 3 and 5 feet tall, yet healthy specimens often carry dozens or even hundreds of fruits at the same time. One of their most fascinating characteristics is their ability to flower and fruit continuously throughout much of the year. It's common to see fragrant blossoms, tiny green fruit, and fully ripe oranges growing on the tree simultaneously. The fruit itself is small, about the size of a golf ball, but packed with bold citrus flavor. Unlike many other citrus fruits, the peel is pleasantly sweet, while the flesh inside delivers a bright, refreshing tartness. The flavor combines qualities of both mandarins and lemons, making the fruit excellent for marmalades, sauces, desserts, drinks, marinades, and many savory recipes. Throughout Southeast Asia, calamandan is especially prized for its vibrant flavor in traditional cooking. Another reason this tree is so popular is its ability to adapt to indoor growing. While some citrus species struggle inside the home, calamandan performs exceptionally well when placed near a bright south-facing or west-facing window, where it receives abundant sunlight. It thrives in a light, well-drained potting mix, provided the container includes excellent drainage holes. Keep the soil consistently moist without allowing it to remain saturated, watering whenever the upper inch begins to dry. During periods of active growth, feeding regularly with a citrus fertilizer encourages lush foliage, abundant blossoms, and continuous fruit production. Indoor trees also benefit from occasional misting or additional humidity during the dry winter months. Fortunately, calamandan naturally develops an attractive, well-balanced shape, so pruning is usually limited to removing damaged, weak, or overly long branches. Even when not carrying fruit, the glossy evergreen foliage alone makes it an exceptionally ornamental tree. Add the fragrant flowers and colorful oranges, and it becomes an irresistible centerpiece wherever it's placed. Imagine welcoming guests into your home while the sweet aroma of citrus blossoms fills the air, and their eyes immediately focus on a vibrant little orange tree glowing beside a sunny window. It's easy to understand why calamandan quickly becomes one of the most admired plants in any collection. For gardeners seeking a productive, compact, and incredibly beautiful citrus tree, few choices can match its charm. 6. Fig trees, a Mediterranean classic. Perfect for container gardens. Among the oldest cultivated fruit trees in the world, the fig continues to be one of the most rewarding choices for modern container gardeners. For thousands of years, figs have been treasured throughout Mediterranean countries for their delicious fruit, attractive foliage, and remarkable adaptability. Fortunately, you don't need a large estate or sprawling orchard to grow one successfully. Fig trees adapt beautifully to life in containers and often perform even better when their roots are slightly confined. Unlike many fruit trees that struggle in limited spaces, figs naturally thrive under these conditions, making them perfect for patios, balconies, courtyards, and compact gardens. Excellent container varieties include Petite Negra, Brown Turkey, Celeste, and Little Miss Figgy. These compact selections remain manageable in size while producing generous harvests year after year. Petite Negra is especially impressive because it often begins bearing fruit while still young and relatively small. Choose a container measuring at least 18 to 24 inches wide and deep, so the roots have enough space to develop comfortably. Proper drainage is essential because figs appreciate consistent moisture, but dislike sitting in waterlogged soil. A loose growing medium containing quality potting mix, compost, and coarse sand or perlite provides ideal conditions for healthy roots. Plenty of direct sunlight is one of the keys to successful fig production. The more sun the tree receives, the stronger its growth and the sweeter its fruit will become. Gardeners in cooler regions often improve harvest by placing containers near walls, patios, or buildings that absorb heat during the day and release it slowly after sunset. As summer progresses, clusters of developing figs begin appearing along the branches. Depending on the variety, the fruit may ripen to shades of green, honey brown, bronze, deep purple, or nearly black. When the figs soften and begin drooping slightly from their stems, they're usually ready for harvest. Inside, the flesh is rich, tender, and intensely sweet, with flavors often compared to honey, berries, and caramel. Fresh figs are considered one of nature's finest delicacies. Many varieties also reward gardeners with 2 separate harvests each year, producing an early crop followed by a second flush of fruit later in the season. Maintenance remains wonderfully simple. Light pruning during winter removes weak growth while keeping the tree compact, and a balanced fertilizer applied in spring with an additional feeding during midsummer supports vigorous growth and healthy fruit production. In colder climates, dormant trees should be moved into a garage, shed, or another frost-free location once the leaves have fallen naturally to protect them from severe freezing temperatures. Even when not producing fruit, fig trees remain striking ornamental plants thanks to their large, deeply lobed leaves that instantly create a lush Mediterranean atmosphere. Imagine relaxing on a warm summer evening surrounded by fragrant herbs as oversized fig leaves gently rustle in the breeze above you. Within arm's reach hangs a perfectly ripe fig, ready to be picked and enjoyed moments later. That simple experience perfectly captures the magic of growing fruit trees in containers, bringing beauty, fresh harvests, and the timeless charm of a Mediterranean garden into even the smallest outdoor spaces. 7. Dwarf pomegranate, a compact tree filled with color, flavor, and character. If you want a fruit tree that offers stunning ornamental beauty as well as delicious harvests, the dwarf pomegranate is an outstanding choice. Often called one of the jewels of patio gardening, this compact tree adds vibrant color, unique character, and fresh fruit to balconies, patios, courtyards, and any sunny outdoor space. Its beauty begins long before the fruit appears. As the growing season gets underway, the branches become covered with brilliant orange-red blossoms that glow against the glossy green foliage, creating a spectacular display that immediately captures attention. The vivid flowers give the tree an almost tropical appearance, making it an attractive centerpiece even before a single fruit develops. Once flowering is complete, the real transformation begins. Small, rounded pomegranates slowly take shape and gradually deepen into rich shades of crimson and bronze as they ripen. Hidden inside each fruit are clusters of glossy jewel-like seeds, bursting with the sweet yet pleasantly tart flavor that has made pomegranates treasured across the world for centuries. Although dwarf varieties naturally produce smaller fruit than full-size trees, they retain the same rich taste and refreshing quality. Watching the entire process unfold, from colorful blossoms to fully ripened fruit, is one of the most satisfying parts of growing this remarkable tree. One of the most popular container varieties is Punica granatum nana, which usually remains under 3 feet tall while producing abundant flowers and fruit. Another excellent selection is State Fair, appreciated for its heavy blooming and reliable harvests of small edible pomegranates. Beyond their beauty, dwarf pomegranates are valued for their toughness. Native to warm Mediterranean climates, they tolerate heat, dry conditions, and intense sunshine much better than many other fruit trees. In fact, the more direct sunlight they receive, the heavier the flowering and fruit production generally become. Plant them in a light, fast-draining growing medium, such as a citrus or cactus potting mix, to prevent excess moisture from collecting around the roots. Allow the upper layer of soil to dry slightly before watering again, because overwatering is one of the few problems these trees truly dislike. During the active growing season, feeding once a month with a balanced fertilizer encourages healthy growth, abundant blossoms, and productive harvests. As autumn approaches and temperatures begin falling, gradually reduce watering and fertilizer application so the tree can naturally enter its dormant period. Gardeners living in colder climates can easily overwinter container-grown pomegranates by moving them indoors before freezing temperatures arrive. Place the container near a bright window or another sunny location where the tree can remain protected until spring. Even during dormancy, its graceful branching habit and attractive foliage continue adding decorative value indoors. Once warm weather returns, fresh growth appears quickly, followed by another spectacular season of flowers and fruit. Beyond its ornamental appeal and harvest, the pomegranate carries deep symbolic meaning throughout many cultures, often representing prosperity, abundance, renewal, and good fortune. Growing one feels like caring for a living symbol of resilience and success. For anyone looking for a fruit tree that is compact, beautiful, productive, and easy to maintain, the dwarf pomegranate is one of the finest choices available. 8. Dwarf pear trees. Elegant trees that reward you with beautiful fruit. Among all fruit trees, few possess the timeless elegance of a pear tree. Their graceful branching structure, refined shape, and changing beauty throughout the seasons have made them treasured garden plants for generations. Thanks to modern dwarf varieties, even gardeners with very limited space can now enjoy both their ornamental appeal and their delicious harvests. Compact cultivars such as Garden Belle, Concord, Patio Pear, and Urban Treasure usually mature between 6 and 8 feet tall, while still producing generous crops of full-sized pears with outstanding flavor. Spring is perhaps their most breathtaking season. The bare branches suddenly become covered with masses of pure white blossoms that release a delicate fragrance while attracting bees, butterflies, and countless other beneficial pollinators. As summer progresses, those blossoms slowly transform into developing fruit. Depending on the variety, ripe pears may display beautiful shades of golden yellow, soft green, bronze, russet, or even delicate pink blushes. Seeing clusters of pears hanging from a compact tree creates the peaceful feeling of a traditional countryside orchard, even on a small city patio or balcony. Fortunately, pear trees adapt very well to container growing. Begin with a sturdy container measuring at least 20 inches wide and deep to provide enough space for healthy root development. Fill it with fertile, well-drained potting mix enriched with compost or well-aged organic matter. Pear trees generally perform best in slightly acidic soil, and adding ingredients such as pine bark or peat moss can help create the ideal growing environment. Like most fruit trees, pears need plenty of sunshine to produce abundant harvests. Provide 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every day while keeping the soil consistently moist throughout the growing season, especially while the fruit is developing. Regular watering encourages pears to mature into juicy, sweet, and flavorful fruit. Pollination needs vary depending on the variety you choose. Some pear trees require a compatible partner nearby in order to produce fruit, while others are naturally self-fertile. Gardeners with limited room can grow 2 compact varieties side by side. Select reliable self-pollinating cultivars such as Conference or Concord, or choose multi-grafted trees that carry several pear varieties on a single trunk. All of these options work very well for container gardening. Feed the tree during spring with a slow-release fertilizer formulated for fruit trees, and refresh the surface of the container each year with a layer of compost to maintain healthy soil and steady growth. Light pruning in late winter improves airflow, removes damaged or weak branches, and helps preserve the tree's attractive shape. Many experienced gardeners also thin developing fruit during summer, allowing fewer pears to mature so the remaining fruit grows larger, sweeter, and higher in quality. Harvest season usually arrives from late summer into early autumn. Many pear varieties produce the best flavor when picked, while still slightly firm and allowed to finish ripening indoors over several days. Long after the fruit has been harvested, the tree continues providing ornamental beauty. Spring offers clouds of blossoms, summer showcases rich green foliage and developing fruit, autumn brings colorful leaves, and winter reveals an elegant branch structure that remains attractive even without leaves. Every season adds a different layer of interest. For gardeners seeking a fruit tree that combines dependable harvest with timeless elegance, dwarf pear trees remain one of the most rewarding choices. They provide not only baskets of delicious pears, but also a graceful focal point that becomes more beautiful with every passing year.